I looked at the hyper design, and it inspired me to create this new design. I only have a few lines to fold to form the kayak. You see the red lines here, don't cut them yet. Wait till the last minute when you are almost done, and then you try to trim those lines. The bottom half is a mirror image of the top part, and I didn't draw the cut lines. And right at here, this angle, we really need to decide how much to cut at the final stage of the design, because one side of the Coral Plus is folded on top of the other, and you need to do some final adjustment. And of course, you can try to close the top by other methods too, such as this one. This is another way I make it when I work on the other bowl. And all the lines are just for reference, because once you start creating the folds and also creating the frame for the boat, it's very difficult to make things exactly to the way you want to. There will always some minor adjustment at the end. I start off trying to partition the boat into 10 segments, 0, 1 foot, 2, and here 4, I just call section 4 for reference later on. At the tail of it, the bottom to the top edge of the boat is 9 inches. At the front is 12. So if you scale out, at this particular section, I expect it's 9.6 inches overall, from the top of the boat to the bottom. I need this number to complete my design. This is the frame for the boat I built, but the plan I created, which is an update from the one I built, is slightly different. And there's another tail piece, which is about 2 feet long, plugged at the end of the frame here to extend the overall length of the frame. For the boat to be usable, you don't even need this section. You don't need this section. You can remove them. I partitioned the frame into 2 sections. This is one section. This is another section. Assume that you don't make this one, make this, then it will be very easy to carry. The PVC I use is 3 1/4. And within it, you can insert a 1/2 inch PVC pipe. At the bottom, that is what I did. I insert another piece all the way into here. And to prevent the 2 sections from drifting apart, you can either use some tape to tape them together, or you can use some rope or Velcro trying to pull them together, 2 frames together. But because we have a coral press and the board itself is pretty rigid, and usually once you put it inside the boat, it's not likely it will come out, slide out, because the shape of the boat already confined it to how much this 2 sections can move. Let's take a look at how to make this section. Assume that this will be gone, this will be gone, and the main piece is just this one, and all the way here, which is roughly about from here to here, about 4 feet. And then the tail section, another 2 feet. Right at 8 feet. From here to here is 9.5 inches. Right at 8 feet from here to here is 9.5, and then there's 1.5 inch. Let's jump back and look at this one. Assume that this is the bottom of the boat. If I do a 9.5, I draw an arc, and then I do 1.5 here. This is what the intersection is. It will give me 9.5 inch freeboard. This is why I'm trying to get to 9.6. This is 9.6, and then this is 9.6 freeboard. In order to maintain that, I can overlay the PVC tubing around here to create this frame at the section 8. I would suggest using this one, and the one I shown here is the one I got from Home Depot, which is only a T. And having this one will make things much simpler because it has many, or all the slots I need to create a frame. The reason I create this more complicated frame because I want to convert this particular boat into a sailboat later on. Therefore, I have added a lot of extra stuff. With this frame, if you look at it, it's not really vertical, but coming out here, all the pipe will be vertical. So you can use a heat gun, and you can do a little bit bending, do a minor bending to create this angle. It actually is very easy to do. This is my first initial design, and after I put things together, you can see the alignment isn't correct at this point, which is right here, and then here I use a heat gun, apply heat around here and bend it, and it is fairly easy to do. If you look at here, I have another T-joint here. The reason I have another T-joint here is because I want to add another piece pushing downward to the frame. I want more support at this end, at this point, because I'm going to put the seat rest against this particular member. And the T-joint here, I didn't glue it to the pipe because I need a little bit freedom, allow me to rotate it so that I can adjust this particular pipe, and I screw the other end onto the member, cross member here. I use a few pieces of wood to create this form for the boat so I can step on it. And I also create the back of the seat, and it can collapse and fold downward, and or you can push it up. And I also use another piece of wood to create a footrest. When we paddle, we can step on it and push against with our feet. This is the final design of the frame. If your goal is not to support the future sailboat design, which I don't have a recipe at this point, I would suggest you to create the frame this way, and then add the four-board design on top to provide a better support to the frame. Let's take a look at the end of the boat. What I did was I used two L-shaped brackets mounted on this side of the boat. And there's another two pieces on further side, on the right-hand side. And I use a piece of rope, tie them together, so that this two tail end will be pointing upward. And the other L-shaped bracket, I have a tidy rope tied against to the frame of the boat to pull the sides together. I used 2 sheets of a coral press. First sheet is a 4x8. The other one is a 4x4. Here I use the Gorilla tape and tape both sheets together. I have 3 layers on top, 3 layers at the bottom. Because I use the tape and I don't want stress to be applied to the tape, therefore I put a piece of wood at the edge to relieve the stress or pull between 2 sections of the coral press. And you can use a shorter piece. And at the front of the boat, I just create some kind of a spool arrangement. And as you can see how I make it, it's very simple. And it worked out very well. And I also suggest to use 2 ropes, independent ropes, so that in case one broken, then you still have another one holding them together. In some design, they use these plastic buckles with straps. Next design, I will try to do that too. How much can this boat support at the length of 10 feet? Now, assume we are sitting right at the center of the flotation at the segment between 7 and 8. And if I want the draft to be 4 inches, then it can handle 240 pounds total. But when you look at my picture here, I probably is around at 8.5 feet from the tip here. Therefore, you see the draft in the front, maybe only 1 inch. At the back, you are talking about 4 or 5 inches. And my total weight on the boat together with me probably is around 170 pounds with the pedal too. I found it's very easy to create a fold line. I use the heat gun to warm up the surface, and then I just use this the handle part of the wrench, just create a fold line. I put a ruler there to guide me too. You have to make sure that the edge of this wrench is smooth, otherwise it will cut into the coral plus. In some of the drawings, you see me having these brackets here, which I put it at the section 4. Later on, I will use it for my sailboat to support my poles for the sail. And I use a PVC pipe and then use a 1/2 inch PVC pipe and just heat up the front here and then insert the 1/2 inches smaller PVC pipe into a bigger one. It works out very well. There are many places online which sells the furniture grade fittings. Furniture grade is supposed to be stronger than the one we get from Home Depot for either for the conduit or for the irrigation piping. During my test, water test, the boat was flipped over because of a very strong wake from a nearby tugboat. And the boat stayed afloat. But it was right at this level. Therefore, I suggest we should put some more flotation around the boat, around the gunwale here, so that this top piece will stay above the water, and then you can get a bucket to get the water out from the boat. And other option is you can get some empty milk jug and stuff it into this portion of the boat, or may put another one in the front. It should be able to create sufficient flotation to keep the opening above water line so that you can clear the water. Going back to the edge of the coral plus, you can also get some kind of padding, rubber padding, which can be inserted to the edge of the coral plus. to protect yourself. And it looks like it's not that expensive. My goal is trying to reuse other materials I can find and not spending the money. In this case, for the seat, I used the leftover packaging material. I put those in a shopping bag, and then I create a pocket here. So when I slide into the frame here, it works out very well. And it was very comfortable too. Of course, you can always go and buy a seat to mount it onto the boat. If you don't have foam, you can also buy the foam and make it yourself. I tried to redesign this boat to support a sail. This is a Photoshop version of what I'm working on. This is my winter project. Thank you for watching.